Happiness, I think, is a misconstrued and misunderstood emotion and phenomenon. People will say that happiness has to be conditioned. I need to get this and that to make myself happy. If I get a good grade on a test, I'll be happy. If I eat a good meal tonight, I'll be happy. If I gain this much money, I'll be happy. But there's something wrong about happiness needing to be conditional. And in a society that puts so much emphasis and value on becoming a happy person, where the ideal life is this notion of someone who's constantly beaming with happiness, there's something deeply wrong here. To pose a sort of analogy, maybe it's not the most efficient one, but an animal going down a stream. When the animal goes down the stream, there's no notion of happiness or unhappiness. They're following what is already set up for them and going down to whatever the stream brings the animal towards. If it goes down this kind of narrow streamway, it'll go down there. If it goes into a big opening, it'll go down there. But it's following something bigger than itself. In the same way, human beings are following something bigger than themselves. We can logically understand this as we are kind of infinitesimally small in the grand scheme of the entire universe. Carl Sagan has put this out a lot of times, and so this is common knowledge. But the thing is, we act subjectively very different to that intellectual thought. Most people think they are of somewhat importance, right? The ego is there, it forms, it's a product of the illusion of the self. And the ego will want to make the person think they are more important than they actually are, a sort of delusion. And so if someone thinks they're more important than they are and they think they're actually a tangible self, happiness then becomes an apparent emotion. Because happiness now is not whether the body is in a state of comfort, but rather if the mental and the illusory self is being verified. So if things are going my way, I will feel happy because my ego is satisfied, not my body. If things are not going my way, I will feel unhappy. And so it's very much a mental and a delusional thing. This is why if you look into spirituality, happiness will become kind of irrelevant. There's no such thing as happiness because true understanding is knowing that you are part of something much bigger and nothing can go your way or not go your way because what even are you? You are a small part of a larger chain of causality. And so if you think you are of some relevance in this kind of bigger scheme of things, you're inevitably going to go against the river, or as I call it, going against the universe stream. And that will cause you problems. If you're going against the universe stream, you're denying something that is undoubtedly bigger and in more control than whatever you are, even though you could argue there is no you. So that's something important to think about in terms of when we value and chase for happiness, what are we really searching for? Are we searching for our body's interests, or are we searching for satisfaction of the ego? And the thing is, someone who is, in some sense, I call them an undefiled observer, or someone who's no longer has illusion of the self, they will not have the kind of the so-called illusion of happiness, but they still will want to seek out things that are the best for them. Now, when they get things that are best for them, they're not necessarily in the same sense as the defiled observer, which is the person who kind of sees the illusion. They're not in the same sense of happiness as the defiled observer is. But it's more just like a kind of a causality thing. Because I'm in this more negative state, I will reach for this state. And when I'm in the positive state, I want to stay in the positive state. And it's not really a notion of happiness so much as it's affecting the ego, but more so as a kind of a motivation to do better for the body. After all, our body evolved to give us signals and to tell us when it wants us to do things. We are hungry when the body knows we should eat. Is the undefiled observer unhappy when the body signals the mind or whatever to eat? No, that can't be it, right? The body signaling, I mean, that's a very practical and important thing. So the body signaling is telling the undefiled observer, okay, it's time to eat, no matter of unhappiness or whatever. You can take this a step further with something maybe a little more hard to grasp, but pain. Pain for most people think it's horrible. You should avoid it. We want to get rid of pain, right? But for the undefiled observer, pain again is a signal, and a beautiful one at that. It shows us when we're suffering. It shows us when our body's going through something so we can do something about it, right? The body evolved these signals not to make us feel bad or negative. They evolve the signals to make us understand how to react to environmental and inner bodily circumstances. And so there's no notion of then being affected and being unhappy of such. And the undefiled observer, or the person who doesn't see illusion, understands this perfectly. They play a basically negligible role in the greater scheme of the universe. So whatever they do is basically kind of part of something bigger. So nothing then can go their way, and they can't enact an actual rippling cause that hasn't already been sort of determined by the universe stream. Now this gets into tricky metaphysical questions about determinism versus free will, which I won't talk about now, but I hope this kind of helps to understand how I'm understanding happiness. Thank you.